Hare Krishna, welcome back to our channel, or welcome for the first time if you haven't been here before. Our channel, we call it Bhagavad-gita, here it is, because we have Bhagavad-gita as it is. Translation and commentary by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and my name is Bhagavad-gita. We're in the 10th chapter. Krishna has just spoken the four most foundational verses in the Bhagavad-gita, chapter Shloki, and Arjuna is responding. He's appreciating this very much because Krishna is revealing these truths to him, because he is a devotee of Krishna, a friend of Krishna, then he's able to understand it. And it's not that this philosophy is very, how to say, abstract and complicated. It's a very natural philosophy, but we will understand it when we want to understand it. It's not that our intelligence is leading us in the right direction. It is our desire that is leading our intelligence to draw certain conclusions. But when the person comes to that point where Arjuna was, I don't know, I am helpless in this world. I don't know where I'm coming from. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know how to act in this situation. I don't know what to do now. And then Krishna doesn't just tell him what to do. He gives him this basis, and the basis is this. We are tiny little spirit souls, and we have all come from Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore we have an eternal relationship to him in loving service. And this we can accept when we want to. But we're in this world, most of us, for exactly that reason. That's not what we wanted. So here we are trying to do something else. But when we come to the point where we're actually sincere about the meaning of life, and we, in general, we don't meet Krishna standing in front of us so that we can ask him questions, but we can meet the representative of Krishna. He's sending out his representatives all over and in all the times. So this is one of Arjuna's responses. Text 15. Svayam evatmanatmanang vethatvang purushottamam bhuta bhavana bhutesha deva deva jagatpate. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. So these are all different words of names of Krishna, and the name of Krishna is not just something his mother wanted to call him when he was little, but it describes him. It describes his qualities, his activities, his relationship with his devotees, like that. Purport: the Supreme Lord Krishna can be known by persons who are in a relationship with him through the discharge of devotional service, like Arjuna and his followers. Persons of demonic or atheistic mentality cannot know Krishna. Mental speculation that leads one away from the Supreme Lord is a serious sin, and one who does not know Krishna should not try to comment on Bhagavad-gita. Apparently this is a thing. People take the Bhagavad-gita and then they write the commentary on it, and that commentary is more an opportunity for them to speak their own philosophy and just kind of lightly touch on Krishna and then go off on a tangent. And that's kind of a dishonest thing to do, because Krishna spoke the Bhagavad-gita, and the Bhagavad-gita is such a famous book. So if you want to speak your own philosophy, you should write your own book. You shouldn't just use the Bhagavad-gita like that. Bhagavad-gita is the statement of Krishna, and since it is the science of Krishna, it should be understood from Krishna as Arjuna understood it. It should not be received from atheistic persons. No, because Bhagavad-gita is a theistic thing. It is connecting us to God. So if we want to, if we don't want that, if we want to forget about God, if we want to build up a worldview, a philosophical understanding of an existence without God, well, Krishna gave us this material world exactly for that purpose. And we see that people all around us take advantage of that fully. And then sometimes they come and say, okay, if you can convince me, then I will accept it. But this is not a logical debate. Because this world, you cannot prove that God exists, and you cannot prove that God doesn't exist. And sometimes we hear that from atheistic discussions. Then both those statements are true, and then they're saying, yes, but that means God doesn't exist because you can't prove a negative. Yeah, well, it doesn't mean that God doesn't exist. It just means you can't see him. And why can't you see him? Because you don't want to. And then Krishna respects our independence, and he allows us a universe where he appears to be absent. And then some of us, we are starting to sense the lack, the emptiness in a world without him, and we don't even know him, but we start to, in our heart of hearts, to call out, to find him. And then he's there. He gave us the Bhagavad-gita, he started the disciplic succession, and actually all the religions and their scriptures are based on that relationship. We're in this world, and Krishna is never too far away to hear our calls, to hear our desires is in our hearts. So he has left the scriptures, the religions, the traditions, but Bhagavad-gita, he speaks himself. And we have the opportunity to actually pick up the same message, the same knowledge, and the same... Actually, Krishna will personally also help us, just like he was saying in the previous couple of verses back, to show them special mercy. I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with a shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So Krishna, he can do that, and he will do that. But he will not do that, and it's not that he's punishing a person for being an atheist. No, in a sense you could say he's rewarding him, because you want to be an atheist. If Krishna is standing in front of you in his full splendor, it will be very difficult. We had it in the Vedic times also. Great big, we call them demons, would stand before Krishna and say, I want to kill you. So they did not deny the fact that he existed and even that he was God. But they thought, I will deal with this. I'm even stronger. So that's one way of approaching it. Nowadays we have a more insidious, indirect form of saying God is dead. And he doesn't disturb us. He doesn't come in and say and get offended. Hey, I'm here, don't you see me? No, he accepts our free will, because if he wouldn't, then how could there be love? How could we love Krishna if we didn't have a choice? So now we have a choice, and what we do with that choice is kind of up to us. But Krishna will still be there and give us access to connecting to him again. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 1-11, Vadanti tattva vidas tattvang yat jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti sabjate. All these verses from the second chapter of the Bhagavatam, they are so good. These are the verses that come back over and over, and then whenever you see them, oh, that's also in the second chapter. So maybe we can do that when we're done with the Bhagavad-gita. Maybe we can do the first canto of the Bhagavatam. I hope so. At least we can do this. The supreme truth is realized in three aspects: as impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and at last as a supreme personality of Godhead. So at the last stage of understanding the absolute truth, one comes to the supreme personality of Godhead. A common man, or even a liberated man who has realized impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma, may not understand God's personality. Such men, therefore, may endeavor to understand the Supreme Person from the verses of Bhagavad-gita, which are being spoken by this person, Krishna. Sometimes the impersonalists accept Krishna as Bhagavan, or they accept his authority. Yet many liberated persons cannot understand Krishna as Purushottama, the Supreme Person. Therefore Arjuna addresses him as Purushottama. Yet one still may not understand that Krishna is the father of all living entities. Therefore Arjuna addresses him as Bhuta Bhavana. And if one comes to know him as the father of all living entities, still one may not know him as the supreme controller. Therefore, he is addressed here as Bhutesha, the supreme controller of everyone. Bhuta means living entity, or Isha means controller. And even if one knows Krishna as the supreme controller of all living entities, still one may not know that he is the origin of all demigods. Therefore, he is addressed herein as Deva Deva, the worshipful god of all the demigods. And even if one knows him as the worshipful god of all demigods, one may not know that he is the supreme proprietor of everything. Therefore, he is addressed as Jagatpati. Thus, the truth about Krishna is established in this verse by the realization of Arjuna, and we should follow in the footsteps of Arjuna to understand Krishna as he is. So Krishna has so many names, and each name describes a certain aspect of him. And these names here are more showing different aspects of God. I mean, God is one word. We say God or we say the Lord, but these are more detailed descriptions of different aspects of being God. And if we don't know it, we can hear it from Arjuna. And here especially this what Krishna is saying. Indeed, Arjuna is saying to Krishna, indeed you alone know yourself by your own internal potency. O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. So yes, Krishna knows himself by his own potency, and we cannot fully know him because we just don't have that capacity. So we cannot know Krishna to the, fullness of Krishna, but we can know Krishna to the fullness of our own capacity to know him. And that is available here, and we will hear more and more. And it's very good actually, because sometimes we hear prayers, and in our tradition and culture, prayer has become almost synonymous with asking, requesting something. And prayer in the Vedic sense, vandanam, means more like an act of glorifying the Lord, a way of connecting to him through this glorification. One can also ask for a benediction in a prayer, but that is just one small aspect. We glorify Krishna, we thank him. We may also express some regrets for our own coming to the party so late, for avoiding him for such a long time. And we can also ask for a particular benediction if we like, but it's not just that. So here Arjuna is speaking about to Krishna from his own realization and calling him all these names that are names of Krishna in his aspect as God. Then we have other names of Krishna. We have names of Krishna in the aspect of his qualities, and also in his aspect of his relationship to his devotees. We call him Yashodanandana or Nandanandana, which means the darling son of Mother Yashoda or Nanda Maharaj. We call him I'm not sure if I remember it, Parthasarathi, I think, which means he's the chariot driver of Arjuna. And in this way we remember Krishna, who, although he is God, he is that person. I mean, nobody else can imitate that. The Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. We cannot take that position. But Krishna, he has that position, and still, when he does things for his own enjoyment, he comes to this world together with his parents and his friends and everybody else, and he acts like the son of Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. So that's Krishna. He's such a full person. He's complete. He's not just God, but he's a very relatable person who loves his devotees and who gives us the invitation to love him also. So yes, we do this, read Bhagavad-gita one verse after another, and I hope this is helpful in coming closer to Krishna and getting into, because sometimes it's like that. You have the Bhagavad-gita and it's a book and it sits on the shelf, and we don't get started with the reading. So I'm thinking if we do this together, maybe this will be a little bit helpful. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for watching. We aim for updates every Tuesday and Friday. Please come back. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down there. We also have some links and information for you. And there is, of course, the subscribe button. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I'm a Hare Krishna, and I approve this message. Subscribe.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.